Amazing. We made it. Reclaim your sexuality. So in this masterclass, post cleanse, I'm just going to allow whatever's going to come through to come through. I have no notes. So we'll see how well I do with no notes. As some of you know, this week is tomorrow's my birthday and I have family in town and I'm preparing to go on a spiritual, sexual, shamanic healing training. Wow. So I'm super excited for that. And if you guys saw those pictures, I just got a bunch of little stones out of my either gallbladder or liver. I don't even know what that gunk is that I got out, exactly where it was from, because it was a flush. But wow, I feel amazing. I felt so amazing this whole week post that flush and purge. And now I just feel so vital and amazing. I love cleansing. Cleansing has given me freedom. Cleansing is totally given me freedom. I am a huge fan of cleansing. I honor cleansing. I honor my teachers who have taught me. I honor my friend Megan. I honor Kate Stillman. I honor Denise, anyone that has really helped me step into this cleansing lifestyle because it's a complete game changer. All right, so it's so great to be here post cleanse. Let me just
think I'm live. I think I'm live.
Turn that off so I can see the chat. Okay, perfect. So when you're here, let me know. Just put in the chat an emoji, or if you can say hi. And if you're watching this later, you can just do a hashtag replay. And then, yeah, let me know. So I'm curious, on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you feel like you are with embracing your sexuality? Most of us have a little bit of trauma or abuse that we need to heal, right? Most of us need to reclaim and call back sexual energy from past lovers, right? There's a lot of healing work when we start talking about sexuality, and we could start quite simply with the wounds, like the patriarchal wounds that maybe have left us feeling like our sexuality is wrong or evil. So hi, welcome. If you're just joining me, it's so good for you to be here. It's so good for me to be here. It's so great that we're here now. What a gift life is. You may know I am a divine feminine mastery coach. So I guide women into their freedom through sacred sexuality, through empowered relationship dynamics, and through a holistic approach to ascension, spiritual ascension. Right? How do we take care of the vessel, this holy vessel, so we can ascend and awaken? And then how do we relate with others? How do we nurture this intimacy and, be in this space? So that's what I'm all about. And today we're talking about embracing and reclaiming your sexual energy and why this is so important. Why is it so important? Well, so for me, I definitely had the religious wounding of sex is wrong. My sexuality is evil. Like it's wrong to be sexual. And then guilt I definitely experienced shame and guilt around sexuality and abuse. I have had abuse. I've had sexual abuse that I've had to heal from as well. And it plays out in different ways. Like one way for me, I think I've shared on another masterclass, but one way for me that abuse has played out was feeling like a little girl instead of this divine feminine woman. The wounding partly was that. So it's patriarchy too, but also religious wounding. There can be trauma, like I said, abuse. So there's so many things that make us like, ooh, I don't really even know about my sexuality. Like, do I really want to be embracing my sexuality? Why would I want to do that? It can be a little bit of a touchy subject, but your sexuality is your creative life force energy. right? Your sexual energy is spiritual energy. And it's potent. It's potent spiritual energy. It's potent creative energy. You are a creatrix of your life, right? Divine feminine path is about standing firm in your power, connected to the womb, connected to the earth, and magnetizing to you what your soul came back here to do and serve, right? And allowing things to unfold beautifully through you and through others in your environment, right? And being in this flow with life. And if you aren't flowing in your sexual juices, well, how do you think that affects the flow of life? Energetically and spiritually. Yeah, it blocks it. Let me just check the chat. Yes, put in the chat. What do you think, right? What do you think? If your sexual energy feels blocked or stuck or not being looked at, like, oh yeah, sexuality, right? How does that affect how energy flows in the rest of your life? I'm talking about your dreams, your relationships, your dharma, your like how you relate to yourself to be blocked because you're not embracing part of yourself, which is your sexuality, right? If you don't want to look at your womb, like if you don't want to look at the vulva area in the mirror, or you don't want to draw a picture of it, or you don't want to talk to your womb, or you don't want to do the moon in the womb healing journey, right? If you have these aversions, like what is it in you that you don't love yet? Like it really matters. Your sexuality and embracing your sexuality really matters. And especially if you're a leader, especially if you're running a studio or a yoga teacher or any type of leader, a doctor, if you're a feminine leader in any way, shape, or form, now is the time to get connected to your sexual energy. If you haven't, now is the time to do the healing. Now is the time to embrace it, because it will open up flow in your life. It will open up the energy because you are open, right? I love the analogies with sexuality because it's like kind of funny, right? You open up. Anyway, it's amazing. It's amazing. And if it's blocked there and you're not looking at it, or you don't want to embrace it, you're not embracing part of you. If you're not embracing part of you, it blocks manifestation abilities. All right. So just notice, if you don't want to put it in the chat, don't, but I would love to hear #replay, put it in the comments. Do you feel like there's work to do in this? Do you need to embrace your sexuality more? What is the story around it? Do you think that you're too old? Because you're not too old to embrace your sexual, vital, life force, creative energy. There's no limit on that. But that's a story. That's a story that we might tell ourselves. I'm too old, or I have too much abuse. Oh, I don't want to do the work around the healing. I've never really thought about it. I haven't thought about, oh, well, if I'm not embracing my sexuality, then I'm not embracing myself, which creates a block energetically. So I'm not as able to manifest. I haven't thought about that. That could be it. But what is your story around it? I would love to hear it in the chat. I want to help women break through with this, because it's time for us. It's time for us to come together and be the change and heal the planet and make these shifts that we see, right? Anyone else that's a visionary in this group, you see, right? You see the things that we need to do to take care of each other and to take care of the planet. And there's a lot of work to do. And it starts here, and it starts with us embracing ourselves. So what's your story around it? Why you don't want to embrace your sexuality, or why you're feeling like disconnected from it? Like, what is, it's important to ask those questions and start to think about this part of your life that's huge, and that culturally has been told like it's shallow, it's not spiritual, it's not creative, it's not important, and it's a means to an end. And it's definitely not spiritual. It's not about you. You can't evolve spiritually through sexuality, which you totally can. It's amazing, beautiful journey. So if you're repressing or not harnessing your creative, spiritual, sexual energy, then it's important for you to know what else are you subduing in your life that's natural or primal or in the universal flow. Like learning how to unlock this energy opens you up to a whole new path of abundance and manifestation and coaching and attracting and being with partners, right? The women that have men around them are connected with their sexual energy, right? It starts to make you more magnetic when you're connected with yourself and you're juicy and you're lush. You like to look at your vagina, you like to talk to your womb, right? You like to use the jade eggs, right? It creates this energy that then draws partners towards you. People are magnetized to your energy. I work with women and helping them free up this connection with their sexual energy, because then all the energies of your life are able to flow in a whole new way. And I see it as a key piece that a lot of coaches don't talk about. I don't know why. It's so juicy and fun to talk about, and there's so many fun jokes we can make with it too, right? So I think it's important, really important. And especially to, like, a lot of times our womb and our sexual energy is connected with our voice and being able to speak our truths. And that could be with partners or with friends, but it also can be as a leader, as a healer, as a coach. If you can't speak the truths that you came here to speak, then what the heck, right? Our voice has to open up, and you can't just do it by singing and voice. Like, there's all this stuff with the throat chakra, and I think that's great work. And I've done a lot of that work, and I think it's important. And my voice has opened because of this divine feminine path and embracing my womb and my sexuality. And people aren't really talking about that. I would love to know in the chat if anyone else that's talking about womb and voice. I would love to follow her. The more womb and voice ladies we have preaching, the better, because it's time for us to remember how connected our voice is to our womb. I love that connection, the feel, the tingles. Woo! Our voice is connected to our womb. Our womb, sexual, like the home of our sexual energy, of our creative spiritual energy. All of us are here because of sex. Think about that. How crazy. And we don't even want to talk about it. We don't even want to look at our vagina in the mirror. I mean, I've named so many practices in this webinar, it's not a webinar, in this video. I've been working on a webinar, can you tell? In this video that I think would help you for sure, and things that I do, but it's really just start talking to your womb, start to love your blood, love your sexual energy, right? And then when you can't, when the things are coming up, the resistance is coming up, the blocks are coming up, that's what you have to look at. Why is it coming up? And this is much easier with a coach. This is much easier. If you want to join us, we can have a chat, we can talk about it, but this is the kind of things we talk about on our coaching calls. The stories or the trauma or the abuse or the things that come up when we need to embrace this, or, oh, I want to go in this direction and my partner doesn't. So these are the things where it's really helpful to have a mentor or a coach or a guide to help you through, and the community support. I feel like women together, just magic, so powerful. And it forces us to get over our sisterhood wounding and get over our mind. Like, the mind is a useful tool. I love my mind so much. And it is not, the mind layer is the layer that's working out of conditioning. The mind is conditioned to keep you safe, to do what is comfortable, to avoid change, right? The mind is based on conditioning and programming from society and your experience from the past, right? So this is why in the spiritual journey, as we're ascending, as we're waking up, it's so important to start to separate yourself from the I, from the mind, and be able to hold your mind as sacred and yourself as sacred, right? So a little bit of off topic slightly, but I think it's so important because it's those layers in the mind that usually have an inhibition or a resistance to doing the sexual work. And that's what I like to talk about with. So if you'd like to have a heart-to-heart chat, we can totally talk about that, because I feel like that is, they all work together. All these things work together. Mind, body, spirit works together. And in order to really manifest and magnetize your dreams to you and discover your soul purpose, right? All these things play together, right? And it's so funny how we get in our own way and how we get a little stuck sometimes. And we need someone else to hold space for us and to reflect back what's going on. So if you haven't had that in a while, take me up on this heart-to-heart chat, because that is exactly what I do. And we ask questions, I ask questions, you can ask questions, right? We have this beautiful heart-to-heart conversation, and I'm really holding space and reflecting back. So you feel so deeply seen and heard. And we all need that. That's what we crave. That's why we crave connection with people, right? It's because we want to be seen and heard on a deep level. And when we do, then we get to experience intimacy, which is such a beautiful gift in this life. It's being intimate with others. So if you want to get intimate with me, my link is in the chat, and I'd be honored to be intimate and to share from our hearts. All right. Hopefully I inspired you in this to embrace your sexuality, or at least look at why you're not embracing your sexuality or what could be blocking you. And I trust it served you, and I would love to talk to you about it. If you feel called, let me know. All right. I hope you have a beautiful Thursday. Thank you so much for being here. And just put in the chat any questions or comments, and hashtag replay when you watch it later. Let me know what landed. It really helps me to know which thing I share that lands for you. So I need to go get some water. I love you. I'll see you soon.